Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing house number 2 along with a creator sim video for the Project SugarKim series, which is a build series with the lovely xSimSugar, aka Laura. Now, I think we're going to take it in turns with creating families for these houses, which I actually think is a really good idea. I really like the idea of building a family for a specific build because it kind of like really kind of personalizes the house and it just makes it a lot easier to build as well. So this time it was my turn and I chose to make Eliza and Lloyd Tate. Now, Eliza and Lloyd, the house that we've built is on a 20 by 15 lot, so it's quite a tiny lot, but it's in quite a prestige area of Newcrest, and even though the house is tiny, it's like a tiny Victorian sort of build. Now, Eliza her aspiration, I felt, was mansion baroness. I wanted Eliza to be one of these women that was like, she's hot-headed, she really wants to be up there in the neighbourhood, she wants to be well known, maybe even famous, and she is really into her riches. She wants to have it all. And she's married to Lloyd, who he really loves her. You know, he's actually a really good guy, and I kind of tried to create him to look a little bit more friendlier. Like Eliza's she actually reminded me of Snow White, to be honest. But I wanted her to look very, not unfriendly, but like a woman on a mission. And basically Lloyd is her husband and he loves her to pieces and he showers her with gifts all the time, and he's just not got the money, he's not had the career or the past to be able to give her all of the riches that she wants, but he tries his best to please the love of his life. And so in turn he turns to a life of crime. So he has got the aspiration of public enemy. Now, one of his traits is actually that he's good as well. His traits are good, gloomy, and ambitious because he's trying his real hardest. You know, he really wants to get somewhere in life. He wants to provide Eliza with absolutely everything that he can. He's good because in the bare bones of him, he's a real good person. You know, he's full of love. But gloomy because as much as he tries and try as he might, he just can't seem to give Eliza everything that she wants. So this is quite a little turbulent couple. I wouldn't say maybe once upon a time they were happy right at the beginning, but I think Lloyd is really kind of holding on to that. So I think it'd be quite interesting to see where this family actually turned out, you know, like what happened to them, and, you know, do they stay together, do they work it out, does, you know, Lloyd end up making enough money to please Eliza, or is there any ever pleasing that woman? So yeah, with Eliza, her traits were hot-headed, jealous, and snob. Couldn't have picked a worse traits for her, bless her. But she's absolutely stunning as well. She's really, really beautiful. So I'd be interested to see whether she would maybe worm her way in with somebody else, a little Black Widow style there. But yeah, we'll see. So with the actual house, it's such a tiny lot, and it's actually been a really long time since I've built on, you know, the smallest lot in the game. And it can be quite challenging, really, especially when you're used to so much space, because a lot of my most recent builds have been really quite huge. So to try and build something smaller, you know, and fit everything in is a challenge, really, at this point, I must admit. But I wanted to go for something that I could have gone for something suburban looking, but I wanted it to be a little bit more upmarket, a bit more classy. So I decided to do this kind of Victorian looking house. Now, I didn't actually set out for it to be Victorian, but obviously the more I built it, the more and more it was in the end. I think it's very Victorian-esque, this house, indeed. But even though it looks a lot bigger on the outside, on the inside it's really, really quite small, and I consider it to be a starter home, but a very plush starter home. So you know, maybe I would say, you know, if you've got a wealthy family in your game and they've had children and them children are ready to move out and they're fortunate enough that their parents are going to give them a wealthy amount of money to, you know, move to an upmarket area, then that's the kind of thing, starter home, this would be, or who it would suit. Now, it didn't actually take me that long to build this house, but I did have a few chopping and changing issues with the windows. I couldn't quite make my mind up on the style of the windows, where I wanted them to be and things like that. And I decided to go for a mixture in the end because I really love those windows that come with the not Victorian pack, listen at me, the vampire pack. But when you use quite a lot of them mixed with, you know, obviously the black pillars and the doors and things like that, the house can start to look quite drab, you know, quite dull, and very obviously they were built for the vampire pack, so that's kind of like the feeling that they give off. And I didn't want it to be too drab, this house. I wanted it to be more kind of upmarket and smart and beautiful, as opposed to being like, you know, the dark haunted house at the end of the street. So I did try to soften it up with, you know, keeping some white windows in there, and also the top half of the building, just to keep those whites in, just to keep it looking, you know, a bit brighter. This lot at the end is, the lighting's a little bit funny on it anyway. It feels a little bit dull in this corner, you know, of Newcrest, and it does have two huge trees outside the front of it as well, which kind of overshadow it a little bit. So coming to do the screenshots for this was quite tricky. I did actually end up having to move it to another area of Newcrest just to try and get a little bit of a better shot, but hopefully, I'm not entirely sure what the end result will be screenshot wise, but yeah, it was a little bit funny, the lighting in this area. So as you can see, I think the majority of the time that I spent doing this build was just faffing with those front windows, because I don't know, I couldn't quite make my mind up, you know. Well, I ended up changing it at the very last minute anyway, and I'm quite happy with the way that I changed it. I think it kind of added a little bit of character to the front of it as well, because it was a bit different. So this is built over 2 floors, and like I say, it's really quite small on the inside, so I'm excited to see what it looks like and what Laura's done with it, because I think sometimes small builds can be just as challenging as the bigger ones as well. You know, trying to fit everything in and make everything look lovely, and yeah, I'm excited to see what's done with the inside. So if you didn't catch the house number 1 in this build series, I'd highly recommend you go and take a look. I'll link it in the description box below. It explains plenty about xSimSugar, aka Laura, how we, you know, cross paths, and you know, our aims for this build series. But this is indeed house number 2, and what I'm going to be doing next, I think we're just going to be working at the top half of Newcrest at the moment, just covering those lots. And in those lots, obviously there's different sized lots for a start, so we're going to have some like starter homes up there, as well as some nice big suburban homes. I'm going to look at putting a community lot in each section as well. So, you know, I think we're going to look at doing a restaurant in this particular section. So these builds are going to be coming out quite thick and fast, I think, as well. Looking to maybe do 1 to 2 a week. Ideally 2 would be great. And then, you know, we're going to build it pretty fast. Now, with regards to the landscaping, I didn't imagine Eliza to be much of an outdoorsy type of person. You know, there wasn't a lot of space anyway, so there was like a little sort of greenery bit to the front, you know, a couple of hedges, a couple of bushes and a couple of trees. I think that's pretty much standard Kim these days. Obviously got to put plenty of ivy on the house, that's just a given as well. But with the back garden, I just wanted to section it off and leave a little bit of a cute garden area, and also, you know, a little area where they can have a little barbecue. I didn't add any potted like plants or activity skill building things because obviously I think Eliza's like a lady of the manor type person. She doesn't work, she doesn't have a job or anything like that. You know, she's just hoping that wealth will see her through. And obviously her husband is, you know, he's in the criminal career. He's had to turn to a life of crime to try and keep up his wife's demands and wants and needs in life. So I haven't actually put any skill building items in there. And but there's still room to put some if you choose to. If you choose to have a completely different family in this home, that's perfectly fine. But yeah, with regards to space, there wasn't a lot of space, so I tried to make the most of what we got, and I thought it looked quite cute in the end. Now, it's actually been ages since I've done a smaller sort of build, and I think it's quite difficult actually, because I'm so used to building, I think, such big kind of suburban homes and having all of that space to play with. I did find it a little bit challenging to do a smaller build, but I hope I've done it justice. You know, I always try to do my builds as detailed as I can and add as much character in as I can. And I do try and, you know, when I do the landscaping as well, I like to think kind of realistically. Would you realistically see these, you know, plants and these bushes in this order? And, you know, I do go for a more realistic look, I must admit. But I did quite like it. I thought it was quite cute, and I do think that the house is quite versatile as well. It fit all sorts of different families, and you can make it into whatever you want it to be. So I hope you're all having a lovely week. I think we are currently on Wednesday. Listen at me, I don't even know what day it is. I've decided that I no longer need a Halloween costume because I literally look like The Walking Dead, like a zombie. My daughter, I feel like I say this in every single video, but honestly, this is just my life at the moment. I think she's now got a fifth tooth coming through, so the last 2 nights have been just awful, and I do apologise if I sound anywhere near drained in any of my videos at the moment. She was up sort of, I think it was like 4 times last night, 4 times the night before, and obviously the evenings is when I work the most on my channel, and also, you know, when she has a little nap in the day, but it's not for very long, so I try to do as much as I can at night, but I do try and go to bed at a good time. But obviously if I'm going to bed at near 12 o'clock and then I'm up 4 times between 12 and sort of 7 in the morning, then yeah, as you can imagine, I'm rather, you know, I feel like I'm crawling on my hands and knees at the moment, and that coffee's my best friend. So yeah, I do apologise if I sound a bit drab. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave all the links down below, obviously for Laura's half. She's going to go ahead and furnish this house for Eliza and Lloyd, and I cannot wait to see what that looks like. Also check out house number 1 if you haven't seen that one yet, the first build in the series. I'll also link that down below. But if you are enjoying the series, feel free to leave me a big thumbs up, because that helps me to know you're enjoying what I'm doing. And if you've not subbed already, please feel free to hit that button, and then you can stay up to date and posted with all my latest builds. But take care of yourselves. I hope you're having a better week and getting more sleep than I am. Take care. Bye.